Welcome back to the presentation series for the projects of the Grace Private Society. And my name is Russell, and I am the overseer of the Grace Private Society. And in this video presentation here, I will be announcing to you our intentions to initiate a project called the Wholistic Health Organization. And before we both get into the scope and details of our projects, I want to first outline our motivations and reasons for creating the Wholistic Health Organization. What I want to be very clear about right now is that we are facing a planetary health crisis of such magnitude and severity that we as a species on this earth have become the most sickly in health of all species on this planet. And that's because the way that we live is sickly. The way that we treat health-related illnesses and disease is fundamentally wrong, corrupt, and delusional. And that's what I'm about to get into right now. Right now, I want to talk about the healthcare industry, which in reality is more of a disease management industry. And this will become apparent to you why we need to make a radical transformation to this industry. The reason that our national healthcare institutions are into disease management is that they are in the treat and repeat business. In fact, all commercial organizations factor repeat business into their business model because repeat business equals multiplied income from one source. Repeat business significantly increases sales, revenue, and profits, and can be the one defining factor that makes and sustains a business. So, for example, let's look at coffee shops. The reason that coffee shops are commercially viable is because they rely upon the repeat business of returning customers. Without returning customers, these coffee shops would suffer huge losses and quickly go out of business. And what I need you to realize right now is that most health care practices, and this includes our national health organisations like the UK's NHS, the National Health Service, for example, and whatever the National Health Service is in your country. These healthcare organisations and practices are actually privately owned corporate businesses, and they are in the business of generating revenue and making profit. And like every other business, in order to maintain commercial viability, these healthcare businesses depend on repeat business. Since healthcare is a business of providing goods and services for sick people, their entire business model of generating revenue and making profit relies upon sick people. Without sick people, these healthcare companies are out of business. However, as long as a healthcare company has returning customers that are sick people, they can maintain a profitable business where the livelihoods of the doctors and nurses are dependent on the profitability and success of the healthcare business that they operate within. Healthcare businesses are in the treat and repeat business. They treat sickness but do not prevent or cure sickness. Treatment means to use a medical solution to alleviate and reduce the symptomatic effects of sickness. They treat the symptom but not the root cause of the sickness. When treating the symptoms of an illness, that illness may temporarily disappear but will soon reappear in the future because the root cause of the illness was left undealt with and remains in place. Of course, when the symptoms of illness are not cured but instead treated with a quick fix temporary treatment, the illness returns and requires more treatment. The sick patient returns to get more treatment. Therefore, the healthcare industry is into disease management. They are managing the illness of a sick patient with treatments that provide temporary relief. Most healthcare practices tend to use one of two types of treatment to alleviate the symptoms of illness. They tend to use harsh slash and burn methods of cutting open and removing illness out of the body, along with chemical medications and radiation therapies, where they are focused on the illness itself and not paying too much attention to the cause of the illness. The healthcare industry seems to favor treatment methods that isolate the symptoms and area of illness within someone's body, and without addressing the poor environmental and lifestyle issues of the patient that are causing the illness and symptoms, without paying too much attention to how the patient mistreats their body and lives in harmful and stressful conditions, which is similar to a mechanic having to replace the brake pads of your car every 1 month, which is a symptom of you misusing the brakes, and yet the mechanic never addresses the fundamental issue and cause of your wearing brake pads, and that is your bad driving. And why would a mechanic warn you of this? Why would a mechanic give you good driving advice that would actually stop you from wearing down your brake pads so quickly, when that would mean a loss of business for the mechanic? The same logic applies with the so-called healthcare industry that relies upon repeat business. They are in the treat and repeat business. In most cases, the treatment methods used in the disease management industry never solve and eradicate the illness. The symptomatic weeds of illness just keeps growing back, because the treatments that they use never get to the actual root cause of the illness. If we are to have a proper and true healthcare industry, then we need to provide actual solutions and protocols that address and remove the root cause of illness, rather than be in the business of disease management. We need to be in the healthcare field of disease prevention and cures. Thus, we would eradicate much of the sickness in our cultures. We would have a much healthier and vibrant and livelier society of people, societies of living beings that enjoy life in good health and welfare and live to see riper ages. If we are to become a society that focuses on preventions and cures for illness, we need to ask, what therefore is the actual root cause of illness? Well, we first need to acknowledge that unfortunately there are people born in this world that are predisposed with genetic disorders, and where in many cases, sadly, they have limited lifespan and a diminished quality of life that can only be mollified with treatment and continual healthcare, where the root cause of the illness cannot be prevented or cured. And the one great thing about healthcare is that we do have the facilities to help those who are infirm and terminally ill. For those of us who are in good health, we should be incredibly grateful that we are, and we should do all that we can within our power to ease the suffering of those who are in the greatest of needs. And moving on, a large majority of cultural illnesses that we face are, however, preventable and curable, which means that the actual root cause of most illnesses in society that we experience as individuals can be identified and prevented and cured, and people can return back to good health. Most people do become sick because they are living a life that makes them sick, where the sickness is a symptom of poor lifestyle choices, where both the mind and body has become symptomatic because most people are subjecting their minds and bodies to the continual onslaught of lifestyle stressors and toxic foods and drinks, where most people live with life conditions that are negative and where they continually consume and be exposed to toxic elements that over time and on a cellular level gradually breaks down the body and causes dysfunctions, disorders and dis-ease to the systems and organs of the body. And when we study the national statistics of any culture, those statistics do portray cultures that are epidemic with ingrained sickness. In most cultures, there are interrelated lifestyle and health issues. There are an overwhelming amount of divorces, bankruptcies, alcohol and drug addictions, mental and physical health issues such as heart disease, obesity, depression, bipolar, addiction, neuroticism, psychosis, and many other diseases. And in most cases, these sicknesses can be prevented and cured by detoxing and cleansing protocols that heals the body, by undergoing psychotherapy and by making transformative lifestyle changes that removes the stress and illness. However, applying the right diagnosis is not so easy in a sick culture, that has become well adapted to a poor lifestyle. Over recent years, more and more people are living in the throes of misery because either they are deeply depressed and unable to properly function in this world, or they are caught within the hamster wheel of these extreme lifestyles of chasing money, chasing carrots, juggling debts, and servicing endless obligations. Most people are stuck in harsh lifestyle circumstances that make them sick. Most people are cycling around and around within a crazy eight lifestyle that swings wildly from these energy intense highs and down to these energy depleted lows where most people are entangled within a cycle of entrapment followed by escapism as they ricochet between lifestyle stressors and remedial tonics to alleviate their psychological and physical afflictions. Afflictions that lead to the addictions of insatiable appetites and unhealthy coping methods. In this fast paced world, most people are busy rushing to their deaths with no time for self care. Most are severely afflicted and they won't do anything to make the change. Instead of dealing with the actual root cause of their illness, most people would rather temporarily patch their illness up with a dodgy plaster. And we have turned our cultural illness into a multi-billion commercial enterprise known as the medical and pharmaceutical industry. The medical and pharmaceutical industry is a treat and repeat business. They treat the symptoms of illness with drugs, but don't give us the preventative and curative remedies that address the psychological, physical, spiritual, and lifestyle causes of our illness. The medical and pharmaceutical industry is not in the business of preventions and cures, even though preventions and cures exist, because their thriving business model relies upon a sick culture. The drug dispensing healthcare companies also rely upon commissions and funding from the pharmaceutical drug makers, and so they are in the business of selling narcotics. Selling narcotics that treat but don't cure. Selling narcotics that have nasty side effects that are just as bad as the symptoms of the illness that they are designed to treat. And of course, there is no supply without a demand. We are a culture of people that want the quick and easy way out, and we are only too eager to request and accept these drugs so that we can get back to our extreme lifestyles and poor health choices, the very cause of our illness. The established medical and pharmaceutical industry, with its treat and repeat business model, with its disease management protocols, is so widespread known and used and embedded within our cultural psyche as being the way that we do things. And worse still, in that we believe this is the best way of doing things, that we don't know anything different or better than the current healthcare systems and practices that we have, or more appropriately, the health harm industry, where most healthcare practitioners have had their minds indoctrinated with specific medical practices that they think is best and right, and so they are incapable of thinking any different. They will never advise us to prevent or cure our illnesses. They will only give us treatments that prolong our illnesses. Furthermore, the healthcare industry is one of licensed practitioners that cannot deviate from industry regulations, guidelines, and protocols. Even when industry regulations are morally and practically wrong and harmful to patients, the licensed healthcare practitioners must still adhere to them or risk losing their license and risk losing a job that earns them a living. They are corrupted and compromised and subjugated. And we did see the result of this during the recent coronavirus pandemic, when healthcare practitioners abnegated the Hippocratic oath and went against their sworn allegiance to protect their patients, and they violated the Nuremberg Code as they advocated and pushed experimental vaccines. Experimental vaccines with a high risk of serious side effects. And they did push these experimental vaccines without properly informing their patients of the risks. To summarize, most healthcare organizations and practices worldwide that operate within and part of the public sector are private businesses that rely upon the repeat business of sick people. They are in the money-making business of treating illnesses that repeat. They are not in the business of illness prevention and cure. If, however, we had a true healthcare industry that dealt with preventions and cures, we would have a population of supreme health. We would have greater lifestyles and greater standards of living. If we started living in much healthier ways, we would have cultures of vibrant and happy people. The standards and conducts of who we are and what we do would elevate in supreme health. We would be capable of so much more. And to improve and upgrade the health of an entire culture, we need to completely change the healthcare industry. We would need to start again. And that brings me to our project, the Wholistic Health Organization. Acting as the overseer of the Grace Private Society, I do give both our official seal and sanction, and hereby decree it is our good will and noble intent to radically transform the healthcare industry with the Wholistic Health Organization. The Wholistic Health Organization is a planetary network of health practitioners that provide holistic health solutions that are based upon prevention and cure, that are established to provide the remedies to heal entire cultures of men, women, boys, and girls from multi-generational traumas and sickness, where exceptional health and welfare are the primary foundations for a vibrant and prosperous world. And from herein, I will now outline to you some of the key aims, functions, and benefits of the Wholistic Health Organization. We are creating an entirely new healthcare system. For that, we need to provide new training universities. And these are land-based universities that educate and certify a new industry of holistic health practitioners. Holistic health practitioners that have comprehensive and syncretic expertise in optimal nutrition and lifestyle practices, naturopathy, behavioural psychology, energy healing, and natural alternative medicines. The aim is to provide a healthcare service of competent practitioners that work with people at every level and aspect of life, healing people with a wide range of natural solutions that are dealing with the root cause of sickness. As part of the Holistic Health Organization, we are building a network of new and advanced healing retreats. These healing retreats are specifically designed for people that have critical and chronic health issues and that need emergency care. These healing retreats are inpatient facilities that offer a fully immersive healing experience that are focused on intensive detoxing and revitalization protocols that provide rapid healing and stabilization that equips patients with the knowledge and skills to reintegrate back into life and maintain good health. To support good health, the Holistic Health Organization will create new and advanced health care centres. We will have a network of health care centres that are positioned in local communities and to provide healthcare education, assessments, diagnosis and protocols. These healthcare centres will be focused on illness prevention and cures. And so I, the overseer of the Grace Private Society, do hereby declare that we shall create the Holistic Health Organization and provide to the world a network of healthcare facilities and practitioners that will transform and upgrade the way that we do health care. Guided by our goodwill and intent, we are bringing into manifestation the Holistic Health Organization to do the greatest good for the greater each and the greater whole, so that we can restore and revitalize the health of living men, women, boys and girls, and cultivate a society that thrives in vitality, balance and joy, the joy of good health and welfare, so that we can enhance, evolve and expand into life at the fullest creative expression of health. And we will see that it is done. And now I would like to say thank you. Thank you for being part of this presentation. And if indeed you have a natural resonance with health and welfare, if you would like to gain the knowledge and skills of an holistic health practitioner, if you feel a calling and a knowing that you want to be part of a new healthcare system, then I extend to you an open invitation to join us, to join the Grace Private Society and become part of our team that is creating this new project, to reach out and make yourself known to us so that we can see how we can best collaborate on terms of mutual benefit. Until then, please do check out the other projects that we are launching and perhaps take a look at the Grace Private Society's Charter of Principles and Maxims. And should you want to become involved in what we are doing, then I will look forward to speaking with you. Take care for now.